It's a great day in Dalton. Justice is being
It's a turbulent day in Dalton, where the winds of justice are blowing fiercely. Alan Thoron, the town's elected assessor for the past decade, has witnessed every twist and turn of the community's evolution. From assisting residents with property tax exemptions to navigating the occasional appeals process, he has seen it all. But today feels different. Today marks the beginning of something unprecedented. Last month, the town board approved a federal inquiry into the mayor's activities, setting the stage for an investigation that would shake Dalton to its core. After an emergency meeting, Alan arrived at work this morning to find boxes of private documents scattered across the common area. Even more unsettling, the lock on his office door had been mysteriously changed. The shocking events continued as authorities uncovered a massive scandal involving Tiffany Henyard, the long-serving mayor of Dalton, now at the center of corruption allegations. Recent revelations indicate that Henyard has been under FBI investigation for allegedly embezzling substantial amounts of local funds, plunging the town into an unprecedented financial crisis. Once a fixture in Dalton's political landscape, Henyard now finds herself at the heart of a scandal so significant that federal officers executed search warrants at her residence, uncovering a trove of damning evidence. Among the seized items were records of lavish vacations, extravagant shopping sprees funded by questionable wire transfers, and a safe containing secret assets, luxuries far beyond what would be expected from a public servant. Henyard's opulent lifestyle, marked by designer handbags, international travel, and a private security detail, stood in stark contrast to the dire financial situation of the town she was supposed to serve. While hard-working taxpayers struggled to make ends meet, Henyard appeared to be living more like a celebrity than a public official. As new evidence continues to surface, it is becoming clear that her actions have caused irreparable harm to Dalton's finances, leaving the town teetering on the brink of bankruptcy. The FBI's investigation has intensified, with agents working tirelessly to uncover the full extent of Henyard's corruption. The question on everyone's mind is, how many more lies and deceptive schemes have yet to be revealed? Can Henyard's extravagant lifestyle withstand the mounting pressure of the investigation, or will it all come crashing down? Residents of Dalton, once loyal to their mayor, are now demanding answers and justice. The FBI's focus on Henyard remains unwavering, and although the full extent of her alleged crimes remains unknown, more revelations are expected to come to light. With each new discovery, the case only grows more complex. The investigation is far from over, and the drama surrounding Henyard's corruption continues to escalate. Dalton's future now depends on the truth being exposed, and the FBI is closely monitoring her every move. As her deceit becomes harder to ignore, the town waits with bated breath for the outcome. Will Henyard finally face the consequences of her actions, or will she find a way to escape accountability? One thing is certain, justice is looming, and her once powerful political career may be on the verge of collapse. In a dramatic turn, the once prominent mayor of Dalton has seemingly vanished from the public eye. Once a frequent source of controversy, Henyard's sudden disappearance has only fueled speculation that she is attempting to evade the growing scrutiny surrounding her. Many believe her retreat from the spotlight is a calculated move to cover her tracks. But the real question is, how long can she remain hidden before the authorities, especially the FBI, catch up with her? The community is exhausted by the uncertainty surrounding her absence. Public and law enforcement attention remains fixated on her, eager for the final showdown. For years, Henyard's unchecked leadership style alienated both the citizens of Dalton and her political allies. Rejecting opposing viewpoints and frequently ignoring the concerns of her constituents, she sought to reassert her authority, but it ultimately backfired. A town assembly was convened in an attempt to restore order, but the outcome was not what Henyard had expected. Not a single member of the Board of Trustees showed up. The empty seats sent a powerful message of defiance, Henyard's rule was over. The mayor, once confident in her control, realized in that moment that her political career was collapsing. Her strongest foundation, her once loyal board, had become a source of active resistance. The shift was swift and undeniable. Henyard's tight grip over Dalton, once unchallenged, had crumbled. What had been a promising political career was now viewed with disdain. The people of Dalton, once optimistic about her leadership, now questioned whether she could salvage anything from the wreckage. Tensions escalated, and her reputation disintegrated. For years, Henyard wielded significant political power, but that power has now become a liability. Her desperation to maintain control at any cost led her to disregard the voices of Dalton's citizens. At one point, the Board of Trustees openly expressed their dissatisfaction, pointing out severe shortcomings in her leadership. What was once a political powerhouse is now on the verge of complete collapse. Henyard's once solid political position is now severely weakened, and the future looks uncertain. The people of Dalton, fed up with scandal-plagued leadership, are demanding long overdue accountability. Even if she still believes she can control the narrative, the cracks in her foundation are widening. As the drama unfolds, one thing is clear: Henyard's credibility and leadership are in free fall. With overwhelming opposition from both her own board and the very people who once supported her, her time is running out. With each passing day, the evidence against her becomes more damning, and her options grow fewer. The residents of Dalton are ready to bring her reign to an end. The once promising future of Dalton under Henyard's leadership now looks bleak, and her political career appears to be nearing its inevitable conclusion.
Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for. None of the trustees showed up.
Tiffany Henyard, Dalton's former mayor, was a polarizing figure who thrived in the spotlight, despite the controversies that often surrounded her. In one of her final acts as mayor, she stood before the town board, delivering a defiant speech though not a single trustee was present. Unbothered, she framed the scandal engulfing her administration as a politically motivated attack, an orchestrated effort to tarnish her so-called magnificent leadership. According to Henyard, the accusations against her were nothing more than a smear campaign. But the people of Dalton had had enough. In an unprecedented display of unity, the townspeople interrupted her speech, shouting, "We already know you're stealing from us." Even in the face of such direct accusations, Henyard remained composed. "Your super mayor became too powerful too quickly," she retorted, as if that somehow excused her flagrant misuse of funds. She continued to speak with unwavering confidence, seemingly indifferent to the growing outrage around her. However, as she defended herself, the evidence of corruption was rapidly mounting. Investigators had uncovered credit card records showing that Henyard and her administration had charged an astonishing $67,000 in travel expenses to the town's budget in just 5 months. When factoring in additional spending by Dalton officials, the total ballooned to nearly $100,000. Henyard attempted to justify the spending, insisting that attending various conferences was essential to her role. However, under her leadership, Dalton's finances were recklessly drained. Matters worsened when her administration continuously ignored public requests for financial records, violating state transparency laws. The Illinois Attorney General's office intervened, urging the community to demand the release of the withheld documents. In response, the parent company of Gillies filed a lawsuit in Southeast County Circuit Court. The judge, highly critical of Henyard's actions, ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, forcing the release of the documents. Despite mounting legal pressure and overwhelming evidence, Henyard's supporters remained steadfast in their defense of her. What began as financial mismanagement had now escalated into a crisis of trust and accountability. The situation reached new heights when the village council hired former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate Henyard's financial dealings. The findings were shocking. Lightfoot discovered that the trustees had never received the routine financial statements necessary for oversight. This revelation sparked public outrage, even among those who had previously turned a blind eye to Henyard's misconduct. By April 2022, Dalton's credit card spending had spiraled out of control, plunging the town deep into debt. In response, the village board passed a resolution calling for a federal investigation into Henyard's actions, marking a pivotal shift in the political climate. By May 2024, Dalton's financial crisis had reached catastrophic levels. A routine board meeting exposed a staggering $3.65 million deficit, reducing the town's once healthy $5.6 million balance to near bankruptcy. This financial disaster served as a wake-up call for the entire community, revealing the full extent of Henyard's mismanagement. Despite the crisis, Henyard remained defiant. She faced intense scrutiny, yet her grip on power continued to slip. The Board of Trustees, now fully aware that accountability was necessary, demanded explanations for the egregious spending under her administration. Meanwhile, the FBI's investigation into her activities intensified, uncovering even more troubling evidence. Among the most concerning discoveries was the misuse of public funds for personal expenses. Town credit cards had been used for purchases at Amazon, Walgreens, Wayfair, and Target, along with the rental of luxury items for private use. Investigators also found that 6 police cars had mysteriously disappeared under her leadership, further exposing her reckless governance. As pressure mounted, Henyard retreated from public view, but the FBI was closing in. Investigators requested personnel and disciplinary records for 29 Dalton employees and scrutinized contractor payments made to Henyard's assistant, Keith Freeman, who also held a similar position in Thornton Township. A raid on Henyard's home unearthed damning evidence, including a comprehensive record of her corrupt activities. As the truth about her financial misconduct came to light, the people of Dalton grew increasingly vocal in their demand for justice. Henyard's once unshakable power was crumbling. The financial crisis, the breach of public trust, and the relentless federal investigation had pushed the town to its breaking point. What had started as an administration full of promise had devolved into a cautionary tale of unchecked authority, financial mismanagement, and betrayal. The investigation was far from over, but one thing was clear: the truth was emerging, and Henyard would not escape the consequences of her actions. Once celebrated as Dalton's youngest and first female mayor, her meteoric rise had now given way to an inevitable and dramatic downfall.